most difficult circuits on the racing calendar. Welcome to Monaco for today's Formula One qualifying.
Shall we get it out of the way then, guys? Hello everybody, it's Joe here, and welcome back to my rebooted F1 2017 career mode. And we are at Monaco. It's the Monaco Grand Prix, the jewel in the crown, and the one race that I dread every single time. Hopefully we can do well here. We're off the back of another brilliant result in Spain. We've had P5 and P6 in the last two races, and now we're here at Monaco, where I'm expecting it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but I'm hoping that we can do something pretty decent. At least get ourselves out of Q1, and so far we're not doing that. We're currently the slowest, so I've gone again, and it's amazing round here what time you can gain just by getting it right. And this time we've gained a whole second on our first lap. I thought that would be decent enough, but it isn't. It's only P15, which became P18, so we have to go again. And at the moment, it is not looking like we're going to make it through. However, I've once again found a second. So will that be enough to knock us through this? Oh, I've got it very wrong there. Got it very wrong out of the final corner. And it could have been enough. But in the end, it wasn't enough. It's P18. And those several tenths that I lost getting very crossed up, they made the difference in the end. And I only have myself to blame.
Motor racing has come a long way since the first Grand Prix of the early 20th century. We have faster cars, bigger circuits, highly trained drivers who've dedicated their lives to racing. We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, and Verstappen, Hülkenberg, Perez, Ocon, and Kevin Magnussen, Alonso, Kvyat, Carlos Sainz, and Grosjean, Massa, Wehrlein, Jolyon Palmer, and Marcus Ericsson. Stroll and a McLaren rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So I took on a load of new components. We're going to start last because I had nothing to lose anyway. From P18, we are underway for this 39-lap Monaco Grand Prix. Can we get ourselves some points? We've got a decent getaway, and we're having a cheeky look up the inside of Stroll and Ericsson. It's not happened with Stroll, however, we did get past Marcus Ericsson and move ourselves up one place. And well, I had a temptation to have a little look round the outside of the left-hander there. It just didn't happen, but now we're going to have a look down the inside at the end of Sector 1. And do we get past Stroll here? Yes, we do, but we're unable to get past Wehrlein. And you really do feel just how slow it is round that hairpin for the first time here at this Monte Carlo circuit. And as we head into the tunnel, again, I'm wondering, can we get past Wehrlein on the exit of the tunnel? It's worth a look. And are we going to take Palmer too? Answer, no. In fact, Palmer's forcing me a bit wide, but he's got it wrong. And we're down the inside here. Can we get him? Yes, we do. Palmer having to back out of that, because I wasn't going to be the one to back out. So gaining 4 positions in the first lap at Monaco. I didn't have that on my bingo card, that's for sure. And as we now move on to the third lap of the race, I'm finding it difficult to get past Kvyat, and at the moment we're a little bit stuck where we are. I'm hoping, however, that we can push on and maybe through strategy get ourselves a little bit further up. We are going to have to do a little bit more overtaking, I think. However, we're now at the end of lap 3, and I'm right behind Daniel Kvyat for P14, and patience is the name of the game here. You just have to bide your time and pick your moment. You can't just go full send willy-nilly round Monaco, because that's the quickest way to find a barrier. We're trying to find the outside line there. It's not worked out, and I've gone a little bit wide in Casino Square. However, I'm looking for the inside line here on Kvyat. Do we have the move done? No, in fact, Kvyat is getting very forceful and taking that straight back. And if anything, he's had a look at Alonso. In fact, he's given Alonso a little bit of a shove towards the wall. Alonso trying to hold the line on the inside, and Kvyat getting shuffled out there. Is that going to give me, I wonder, a little bit of momentum to have a look down the inside after the tunnel? No, he went defensive, and I had to jam on the brakes, and that in turn allowed Jolyon Palmer to gain a position, but I'm instantly taking that back. In fact, no, I'm not. Palmer's forcing the issue again, and now Palmer's having a go at Kvyat. No, he's not. Palmer's still on my left. I'm still trying to force the issue, and that's actually made it work. So we're up back into P15, and once again, Kvyat and Alonso having their little scrap, and I'm going to try again out of the tunnel. Stroll now has got ahead of Palmer, so I think Palmer, where he nudged us, has taken a slight knock. But now we're going down the inside of Kvyat. Have we got it done this time? No, we've clipped the wall and we've spun. And I'm reversing to just get out of everybody's way so that I can recover the car. Oh, that is a disaster for our race. We're now fallen down further. We're currently in P17. It is just not a race that is going particularly well for us, is it? As we now line up Pascal Wehrlein in the Sauber to overtake him again. Can we do it here? No, we cannot. However, that might be on going into turn one if we can get a decent run on him. And it's not really been the best of runs so far. But I'm feeling ambitious here. I do feel like I've got to go for it. It's now or never. And we make that work down the inside. And in fact, Massa follows us through and knocks Wehrlein into the wall. Massa's not waiting around either. And we now move up into P14, where the first of the two stoppers are starting to make their way in. And I'm going to say this, if you two-stop this race, you are losing out. You're going to get held up behind traffic, and if anything, that's just going to ruin your race. But we're now right behind Lance Stroll, eyeing up P13. We've been really quick in catching him. We're going around the outside of Massenet. That's not worked. Stroll's got the inside of Casino Square. He's come off a little bit slower, and that's allowing a send down the inside. Deja vu, because we're now right behind Danny Kvyat. I was thinking of going around the outside of the hairpin, but it just didn't work out, and I locked up my tyre in doing so. But now we're having a look down the inside of Raskas. And that's an ambitious move, and Kvyat lets me know what he thinks of that. But we move up into P12. And we're getting these moves done, little by little, we're getting them done. Next up is Grosjean, and again, it's a dive down the inside of Raskas. P11 now, and somebody's holding this up. Somebody has got front wing damage, and they're going ultra slow. They're being held up as Grosjean's trying to get down the inside of Sander Vogt, and it's just not worked for him. Grosjean having to back out of that one. He's still going for it. He's still right up my chuff. But it's Magnussen that is holding everybody up. And we're down the inside of Carlos Sainz into the Raskas. Magnussen finally pits. And we get ahead of Carlos Sainz. Magnussen, who's had damage, has now pitted in. And Hulkenberg is so far up the road. And we're now pitting in for our one and only pit stop. Taking up, going from the ultra softs to the super softs to take us to the end here. It's been a good enough stint, and I think we can make it last, but we're being held up in the pits because of a Sauber, which I believe is Pascal Wehrlein, and we've come out in I want to say P15. I want us to be ahead of Kvyat, and that has happened, thankfully. So we are ahead of Danny Kvyat, but we are behind Kevin Magnussen in the Haas, and you can see just how slow he is, and that they haven't actually fixed that damage. That's a very late send down the inside, and Magnussen fighting me every step of the way, but I'm fighting that one straight back, and ahead of Kevin Magnussen we go, and we've had a lot of clear track now to push on, and that's moved us up into P10. Somehow in this Grand Prix, despite all the dramas we've had, we're running in the points and we're starting to get blue flags, so we are going to have to let the leaders through, which is absolutely fine by me. That's one less lap I have to do, and Perez is in the pits, so that moves us into P9. We're so far behind Hulkenberg now, though, that I do not think we are going to catch him, so I'm just driving my race, and there is the race leader right behind the car behind me, but we're on a good P9 here. Oh, we've hit the wall! Oh, we've crashed! That's our race over! Oh, balls!
A great win then for the Maranello team today. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Well, the lead at the top has come down after a poor result for our points leader. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Let's give it to Lance Stroll. That was a quality drive from start to finish. He can be proud of that one.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Until next time, though, goodbye.
Oh, we were running a good race there, looking at grabbing a potential P9, but in the end, we threw it all away, whacked the barrier, and that is how our race ended. A potential 2 points becomes 0. And, well, like I said, I've only got myself to blame for that one. Pushing hard, well, I wasn't pushing that hard, actually. I was just doing my own race. And in the end, I lost concentration and hit the wall. But we move, and we're going to keep moving. So, the championship, Bottas is now 12 clear of Raikkonen and 14 clear of Hamilton. Vettel has now moved up to 4th. He is only 39 points off the race lead, off the championship lead now, so Vettel is coming after the leaders. We've got Ricciardo and Verstappen still 5th and 6th, and we're still in P8, but that's a miserable way for our Monaco Grand Prix to end, especially when I've pushed hard for the most part of the race and done what I had to do to try and get myself into the points. Unfortunately, it didn't end that way, and we're sitting in P6 in the Constructors still, so that's a positive. But, yeah, it could have been so much more. It could have been more. Right, thank you for watching this instalment of Career Mode. As always, please don't forget to leave a like and hit subscribe if you are new here and you want to see more content from me. And until the next time, I've been Joe, and off the back of that performance, we've been promoted to first driver. Only in an F1 game. TTFN, ta-ta for now, take care, enjoy the rest of your day.